Hi, my name is Sian Beilock. I am a professor of psychology at the University of Chicago, and I'm also the author of two books, Choke and How the Body Knows Its Mind. And so today I'm going to be talking about why we sometimes choke under pressure or fail to perform at our best when it matters most. I'm going to be talking about what happens in the brain and body when we don't put our best foot forward in those high stakes situations, ranging from having to read aloud in front of a class to taking a test to even giving a toast at a wedding. I'll be talking about that and then what we can do essentially to help people perform better when the stakes are highest. And so, in a lot of my work, we've been studying what actually happens in the brain in high stakes situations. And we've shown that when people are under pressure, they worry. They worry about the situation, they worry about the consequences, they worry about what others will think about them. And these worries are problematic because they essentially zap people of the brain power they need to focus and concentrate and do their best. And so we've been really interested in what sorts of techniques we can help provide for students, for people in stressful situations, so that those worries don't essentially take over and get the best of them. So let me give you a couple examples of some of those techniques. One, I think that we don't think about a lot, but is really important, is actually to get used to the kinds of situations you're going to have to perform in. So if you're a student and you're going to have to give a speech in front of a class, or you're going to have to read aloud when all eyes are on you, just practicing doing this alone might not be the best thing. Rather, if you can imitate the kind of situation you're going to experience, maybe practice in front of your parents or with other people watching you. Then you have a feeling for what that all eyes on you feels like, and you're better able to perform your best. Another one is actually really simple, but there's lots of research showing it can have a big effect. And that's really to reinterpret your physiological reactions. So we've all been in high stakes situations where we have sweaty palms or a beating heart, and this is what I mean by a physiological reaction. And oftentimes we think, oh no, this is a sign I'm going to fail. But actually, there's research that shows that if you can get students to think instead of their sweaty palms and beating heart as a sign they're going to fail, but instead as a sign they're about to thrive, these bodily reactions are important for actually shunting and pushing the nutrients, the oxygen we need to our brains to think at our best. If you get students to realize that these sorts of physiological reactions are normal, that if we didn't have them at all, we'd actually be dead, this can be really beneficial. Another tip that we talk about is something that I think people don't actually think about, but it's really a little bit counterintuitive, but it seems to have a pretty big impact. And that's actually to journal or get down your worries on paper. The idea is that when we're in these stressful situations, our worries get the best of us. So anything we can do to download them from mind can be beneficial. And there's lots of research showing that when we get our worries down on paper, it's almost as if they're less likely to pop up in the moment and distract us. We've actually physically downloaded them onto the outside world, and so they're less likely to distract us in the moment. So I'm going to be talking about lots of tips that we can look at to help people perform at their best. And in my books, Choke and How the Body Knows Its Mind, I talk about these in more detail. But the idea, the take home, is that if we just concentrate on what we're teaching students in terms of content knowledge, if we don't think about their attitudes, their anxieties, their motivations, we're missing a big piece of the puzzle in terms of ensuring success. And by focusing on the psychological tools as well as the content they're learning, then we really have the power to ensure that students put their best foot forward, especially when it matters most.